good?
Yep. Just got to change the scoreboard and whatnot.
We're good. Are we good?
We're up.
You think so? Are we on?
Oh, shit.
What?
What should I put for who we're playing?
CHS. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, CHS. Can you make them red or does it matter?
I can change one color.
So we're not touching any cables during the game today. But if anybody comes and wants to charge their phone, SOL. We all agree on that, right?
Yeah. I didn't even have this game created yet.
You guys got us on? We're feeling good?
What color do you want around here?
We got good people here.
Make them yellow.
Make them yellow or red? Oh yeah, we're red, aren't we?
Yeah.
Can you make them maroon? Is maroon an option?
What's going on? Good to see you.
You can show me your maroon color because I'm probably color
I
blind.
don't give it.
Make them yellow.
I don't care for purple for all I care. Oh, that's fine. Close to maroon. Well,
Right here?
how about this one right here?
Right here?
Yeah, try that. What's that?
Wow, would have been helpful to wear my glasses today.
See if that works. Are they too close in color, do you think?
No, because we have an orange color.
Yeah.
So,
You want the binoculars? You can use the binoculars.
Set it right there. Let's get that thing stable, the camera level.
Do we need to test? Are we already in the air? Or how's that work?
we're live right now.
Oh, they can hear everything.
I'm going to plug in my headphones.
Set the volume. It's my ear volume. Did you guys say SOL? This is the old school show.
I just changed it.
Turn this one off.
Austin Bates. For the Cougars, Cody Jenkins, Connor Kennedy, Ryan Rieta, and Drew Johnson.
Yeah, you said it. So tell me, is this one so long?
Chapel has won the toss and chooses to defer to Mountlake Terrace. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we'd ask you to please rise if you are able. Remove your hats and join Mr. Dan Lundberg in the Capitol High School Band in the playing of our national anthem.
to Ingersoll Stadium in Olympia, Washington, where today the first round of the playoffs, the district playoffs between the Capital Cougars and the Mountlake Terrace Hawks. Steve Willett's coming to you live from the stadium. Like today, Ian Hintz, our all-star student from Mountlake Terrace High School, to get us up on the air, as well as period extraordinaire John Hubbard. John and Ian are making this whole entire thing possible. Easy to set up in the grandstands of an away stadium in Kingston. This broadcast
Backbeat to receive. Number 3, Daniel Johnson, and number 33, Riley Morin. Kicking off for the Cougars, Van Vanderberg. Versus Cougars. Let's do this thing! First down and 10, Hawks.
Scrimmage. Malcolm Johnson running the football gets stopped at the line of scrimmage. Appreciate all the tweets that are coming in and the texts that are helping us out to get going here. Let us know if you can hear us now. We think we've got our technical difficulties squared away. As we mentioned a few moments ago, may or may not have gone over the air, we are live at Ingersoll Stadium down in Olympia. This is a district stadium, and the Capital Cougars, playoff team playing their home games here. Justin Hopkins back to pass, hits brother Josh right in the chest, exactly where he wanted it, and the Twins cannot make the connection on that one. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 10. It was the second play from scrimmage of the game, just to get you caught up. Riley Morin, the junior kickoff returner, brought the ball out to the 34-yard line. On 1st and 10, the Hawks tried to run over the left tackle, didn't find much room, no gain. And the incompleted pass on that last play brings up a 3rd and 10 situation. Malcolm Johnson in the backfield. Hopkins is going to roll out to his right, looking deep. He's got Gabe Brady over the middle. He's wide open, makes the catch at the 30, the 20, the 15, dragging a defender, and he's finally tackled at the 6-yard line. 60-yard gain for Gabe Brady. Beautifully executed play by the Hawks. Justin Hopkins rolls out to his right, looks down the field, and Brady, running a deep post pattern, just found a seam right over the middle, wide open. Beautiful pass by Hopkins, and the Hawks are in business here. 51 seconds into this game, Hawks looking at a 1st and goal. Hawks lining up with 2 receivers out to the right. That is Josh Hopkins and Daniel Johnson. Austin Bates goes in motion. Here comes Ryan Lacoste sweeping around to the side, into the middle. Touchdown, Terrace. Ryan Lacoste sweeping around from the left side, just dove that one right up the middle into the end zone, and the Hawks strike first with 10:47 to go in the first quarter. Not a bad drive if you are a Mountlake Terrace Hawks fan. 4 plays, the big one obviously, coming on that 60-yard pass from Justin Hopkins to Gabe Brady. And Ivan Melkor, the senior, first-year player, so he missed 1 PAT all year, and that was on a handling issue. This time he kicks it up and through. Remains perfect for when he's able to get the ball up in the air. And we're going to take a quick break. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks leading the Capital Cougars 7-0. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Hey, sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the Westco Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the Westco Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the Westco Conference.
And welcome back. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network from Ingersoll Stadium in Olympia. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks striking first, their first drive of the game, a 4-play, 66-yard drive. And obviously the big play coming on 3rd and 10, a 60-yard hookup from Justin Hopkins to Gabe Brady down to the 6-yard line. Brian Lacoste able to punch it in on the very next play. And now the Hawks defense will be taking the field for the first time as Ivan Melkor has the ball lined up. And the Hawks are ready for the kickoff. Melkor pooches this one down to the 15-yard line. Returner comes up and grabs it, looks for some space out to the right. And Jacob Walgren, a.k.a. Wally, wrestles him down at the 27-yard line, and I'm not sure what the call's going to be here. Wally had him up around the neck a little bit. They might have called that. See some clapping going on by the Cougars of Capital, so perhaps they've already been told or overheard the referee. Oh, they're going to say face mask. So Jacob Walgren getting up around the face of the returner. That was number 15, Sean Morris. That's going to add on a few yards, 15 to be exact. And Capital will start off their first possession past the 40-yard line as we wait to see the exact spot.
First down, Cougars, 42-yard line.
And the Cougars will start off on the 42-yard line. This is a team very similar to Mountlake Terrace. They like to run. And we're going to see a lot of that today. We'll get you their starting lineup here in just a moment. Number 9, Cody Jenkins, the quarterback. Hands off to number 32. That's Connor Kennedy. You're going to see a lot of Connor Kennedy today. Kennedy coming into this ballgame with 1,445 yards rushing, 12 touchdowns. That is a ton of yardage for a high school running back. The other name we're going to be calling out quite a bit is his backmate. It's number 34, Ryan Rieta. Rieta also with 12 touchdowns this year on considerably fewer yards. He's rushed for 305, but he is definitely a short yardage back who they will go to. He's the fullback, the big bruiser. We'll see a lot of him in short yardage situations and probably around the goal line. They're going to get to Kennedy one more time. Kennedy just barreling up the middle. Finally gets taken down at the 49-yard line. Call that a gain of 5 on the play. Tanner Munnis making the tackle.
That'll bring up a 3rd down and 3.
Munnis, the junior. And this is a Mountlake Terrace team that has experience in the playoffs. They've been each of the last 3 years. These juniors and seniors have known nothing but playoff football during their varsity time. Should not be too big of a stage for a Hawks team that once upon a time never even thought about going to the playoffs. Jenkins under center one more time. Hawks putting quite a few players in the box. Kennedy breaking through into the backfield and finally gets down to the 40-yard line. Mikey Jensen and Ryan Lacoste on the tackle. Pickup of 9 yards for Kennedy, and he's got another first down for Capital.
First down, Cougars.
So we mentioned Jenkins is the quarterback. Kennedy and Rieta are the running backs. One wide receiver spot, Jacob Johnson, number 35. He's lined up to the left right now. Number 7, Jake Pratt, also a senior, is the other starting wide receiver. He is lined up out to the right. It's number 34 going in motion right now, which is Ryan Rieta. Handoff is going to go to Kennedy, and this time he's not going anywhere. Great play by Tanner Munnis to wrap him up around the ankles. Held him up while a couple of his teammates, one of which Mikey Jensen, came over to help make the tackle. Loss of 2 yards on the play, and that's going to bring up a 2nd and 12. Appreciate everybody that's watching out there. We're already seeing Some of the text and the tweets coming in. Drew Sears, glad to have you aboard here today. Hope you're enjoying yourselves in Mountlake Terrace and everybody else that's watching from up in that neck of the woods. Jenkins under center one more time. High backfield. He's going to hand off to Rieta this time, the fullback. The big fella just dives up the middle for a gain of, we'll call it 3 yards. Got back to the original line of scrimmage. Bring up a 3rd and 10. Ryan Rieta listed at 5'10", 215 pounds. The tailback, Kennedy, he's 5'10", 190. Johnson lined up out to the right. Pratt out to the left, although it doesn't seem to matter much. They haven't been throwing a whole heck of a lot this year and haven't done so at all today. But on 3rd and 11, we might see this ball get thrown up into the air. See Johnson going in motion this time. Jenkins back to pass. He's going to throw a screen pass out to his tight end. He's got some room around the right-hand side. Cuts it back into the middle where he's picked up the first down, and there, not much more. Ball is fumbled at the end. I believe that was Lacoste that put the lick on him. Let's see if the Hawks recovered. Still have not seen a signal by a referee. Hawks seem to think they have it, and they do. Turnover for the Hawks. That was number 45, Robbie Donaldson, the sophomore starting tight end. Did a nice job to pick up some yardage, but he took a lick at the end of the play. I think that was Lacoste that put the big hit on him. Forced him to cough up that football. The Hawks were able to capitalize, no pun intended, jump on it, and it is Mountlake Terrace ball for the second time. 7:22 to go here in the first quarter. The Hawks already up 7-0. And they're hoping to expand on that as they take over on their own 24-yard line. Hopkins is going to go back to pass one more time. Throws it out to Gabe Brady. They do a hook and ladder. Is that a fumble? Nice job by Lacoste to dive on it. I wasn't sure it was even caught, but they are going to say completed pass and then call it a fumble. The Hawks looking to do a hook and ladder very similar to what they did against Glacier Peak in the third quarter of their big 22-point come-from-behind victory. In that particular game, it resulted in a very long touchdown. Unfortunately, this time it goes back for a 6-yard loss. That's the unfortunate part. The fortunate part is that they recovered the fumble, and nice job by Lacoste to jump on that. That would have been a huge blow for the Hawks if they'd given the ball to Capital within their own 20-yard line. Here comes Mountlake Terrace one more time. They give it to Lacoste. He's looking for room out to the left. Still trying to find some space near the sideline. Doesn't find much. He's finally cut down at the 21-yard line after a gain of 2. Get you caught up here on the Olympia defense. Starting defensive line, number 74, Mason Manning. Number 51, Drew Johnson. And number 71, Duncan Madison. Your linebackers for the Cougars, Jared Gerhardt, number 44, Dexter Morton, 43, Jacob Johnson, 35, and Gavin Armitage, number 11. Your defensive backfield, Danny Leatherwood is one corner, Sean Morris is the other, as Hopkins rolls out to pass here on 3rd and long. He's going to throw it over to Lacoste, incomplete. That will bring up 4th down. And the rest of your defensive backfield, Zach Smith, number 4, is one safety, and Jared Sesta, number 25, is the other. I've yet to call it the Hawks offense. We'll do that right now also while they await the punt. Your offensive line, number 60, Gabe Fritz playing left tackle. Number 71, Miles Allen is your left guard. Number 55, Drew Clippert, the junior, is your center. Your right guard is number 56, Billy Parkins, and your right tackle is 54, Eli Wilson. Austin Bates, who is also your punter and kicking the ball right now, a.k.a. Fife, is your starting tight end, and Fife gets a nice kick away from his own 22 down to the 31-yard line. It's a 47-yard punt with a 9-yard return. And we'll keep it right here as the Cougars will take over their second possession on their own 40-yard line. To finish off your starting offensive unit for Mountlake Terrace, Justin Hopkins, the quarterback, Ryan Lacoste, the tailback, Malcolm Johnson, the fullback. Should mention Hopkins is number 7, Lacoste is number 8, Johnson number 9. And then, of course, your receivers, Josh Hopkins listed at one starting receiver, Gabe Brady at the other. Capital onto the field and ready to go with 5:47 to go here in the first quarter. Mountlake Terrace with the early 7-0 lead. As Jenkins is under center one more time, hands it off to Rieta. And Rieta not going anywhere on that play. Might have picked up a yard. Austin Bates able to grab him around the ankles. Holds him up until Mikey Jensen can get over there to help out with the tackle. 1 yard gain. Your Mountlake Terrace Hawks defense, as announced by head coach Tony Amayam. Defensive end number 56, Billy Parkins. Eli Wilson, number 54, is at the nose tackle, and Chase D'Alba, number 53, at the defensive end. Get you the rest of that lineup here in just a moment. 2nd and 9 for the Cougars. Hand off to Rieta. No, Jenkins keeps it. He's going to run a option play. Keeps it himself as he gets down the field. Fumbled the football again. Referees have not signaled one way or the other. I believe they're going to say Jenkins was down, or that no, the Cougars did in fact fumble it. However, they recovered their own fumble. Jenkins put it on the turf. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 6 for the Cougars. The rest of your defensive unit, your linebackers, starting at one outside backer, number 15, Austin Bates. The other is number 80, Gabe Brady. Your 2 inside linebackers, Shake and Bake, number 2, Tanner Munnis, and number 5, Mikey Jensen, the 2 juniors. Get you your defensive backfield in a minute with Riley Moore at one corner, number 33, Jacob Walgren, number 20, starting at the other spot. Your safeties are number 8, Ryan Lacoste, and number 3, Daniel Johnson. They're going to pass on this play. A little bubble screen. Hawks not having any of it. Nice job by Mountlake Terrace. Riley Morin stepping behind one of the would-be blockers to make the play. That was number 35, Jacob Johnson, with a catch. He was immediately brought down by Morin. No gain. Clock continues to run here. We are now under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Mountlake Terrace with the 7-0 lead. And Riley Morin standing back on his own at 23-yard line, set to get the ball back for the Hawks. Kicker is number 3, that's Van Soderberg. Gets off a high spiraling kick. Morin's going to have to fair catch it. Drops the football, fumbles it, is able to get it on the bounce. However, that does rule the play dead immediately. Recovers the ball at the 13-yard line. And that is where the Hawks will take over their next possession here with 3:33 to go in the first quarter.
First down and 10, 11-yard line.
Mountlake Terrace coming on to the field offensively for the 3rd time this afternoon. First drive was a touchdown. Second drive was a 3-and-out punt. See what they can do on this 3rd drive here. Back in a wing formation, they've got Ryan Lacoste on the right wing going into motion. They hand the ball off to Johnson. Johnson dives up the middle, fumbled the football, and it is recovered by Capital. They've got the ball. It looks like they're going to spot it at the 12-yard line. The Cougars in good shape right now with 3:25 to go in the first quarter. This Johnson, I couldn't tell what happened from up in our vantage point. I think he just trying to fight for some yardage up the middle, had the ball stripped away. Daniel Garland recovers it for Capital. And the Cougars, with their best field position of the day so far, looking to take advantage of the Hawks' mishap. The usual suspects, Jenkins back in at quarterback, has Rieta right behind him and Kennedy behind him in the tailback position. 2 receivers set. They're going to give it to Kennedy. He runs up the middle. Nice job by Munnis to initially slow him down. Kennedy busts through the middle towards the 5-yard line. Give Lacoste credit on the tackle as Kennedy is brought down at the 6-yard line after a gain of 6. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 4 situation for Capital. Keep in mind this is not a 1st and goal. They can get a first down at about the 2-yard line. Doesn't seem to change much. It's always Rieta and Kennedy behind Jenkins. As Jenkins is lined up under center. Takes the snap, gives it to Kennedy one more time. Kennedy still fighting forward. Picks up a gain of about 4. He might have even gotten a first down on the play as we wait to see what the referees say. Tanner Munnis with another tackle. Seem to be calling his name quite a bit today. Third down and 1. They did not pick up a first down. Again, this is not a goal situation. They can get a first down at the 2-yard line, and Jenkins is going to kind of keep it himself this time. Not kind of. He does keep it himself. He might have even gotten into the end zone, and they do signal touchdown. Number 9, Cody Jenkins, right up the middle. From 3 yards out, and the Cougars are a PAT away from tying this game up with 2:12 to go in the first quarter. Three-play, 12-yard drive for Capital. Angelo Camo just texted us. It looks like they're playing with a greased football. Neither team able to hold on to it very well today, and it's showing so far. Turnovers can be very crucial at times, and in this case, it cost the Hawks. And we are tied up here at 7-7. We're going to take a quick break. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students, to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
And we are back again. Jacob Walgren, apparently injured on that last play, was able to finally get up and walk off on his own. Capital tying the game up 7-7 here in the first quarter, 2:12 remaining. Once again, a 12-yard drive for Capital that was set up by a Malcolm Johnson fumble. Each team now with 3 possessions today so far. I keep wanting to say tonight, but we're used to doing these 7:30, 8 o'clock games. 1 o'clock start, and I'll tell you what, it is ideal weather here as far as November is concerned anyway. It's maybe a bit chillier than we'd like, but it's still sunny out, nothing but blue skies. Not much more you can ask for on November 8th. Looking at the stats overall here too. Total yards so far, 63 for Mountlake Terrace, 50 for Capital. Fairly even there. Hawks obviously getting most of their yardage on one play. That was the 60-yard pass to Gabe Brady. And Riley Morin and Daniel Johnson back to receive yet another kickoff as Van Soderberg boots it away one more time. This time he squibs it along the ground. Daniel Johnson picks it up at the 5, running right up the middle, breaks out of one tackler, holds on and gets ahead to the 30. Here is though Jared Costa, number 25, on the stop there, making a nice open field tackle. Costa, the 6'1", 195-pound junior. And the Hawks will look to get something going here on their own 30-yard line. 2:04 to go in the first quarter. Should mention that the majority of the playoff games from this weekend were played last night. So these two teams do know what awaits them if they are to win this game. Johnson trying to run hard around the left side. It doesn't find much space at all. Might have picked up a half of a yard on the play. We'll call it a 2nd and 10. The Marysville Pilchuck Tomahawks defeating Seattle Prep fairly handily last night, game in which they led 42-0 at halftime. Tomahawks are the 4th-ranked team in the state, and they will play the winner of this game, tentatively scheduled, and it's probably more than tentative. I don't think it's etched in stone yet, but unless there's some unforeseen change, that game should be taking place next Friday night at 7 p.m. at Quilceda Stadium up in Marysville. And I say tentative because we did see, well, for this game here was originally a Friday night game before it was changed to Saturday. So until the two teams are announced, we'll await on that one. However, it's almost definite. We'll call it 95% right now that game will, in fact, be taking place next Friday night. Certainly we know we have a lot of folks from the Marysville Pilchuck area watching this game today as they are scouting these two teams to see who they're going to play next, and certainly want to say hello to them and send our well wishes. I know that community's been through a lot the last 2 weeks. We've got a lot of friends up there who we know from both of these teams, that being Mountlake Terrace and Marysville Pilchuck, our fellow Wesco competitors, and like to give our best to them and hope that things are returning back to normal a little bit. I know it's been a rough go up there, and certainly more bad news yesterday with the death of another student.
For a first down.
No, one of the coaches, Brian Horn, he's watching us. He's already said a hello to us a few times. So Big Wheezy, I hope you're enjoying the game, and hope you guys aren't taking too many notes. We don't want you to know our offenses too well here if the Hawks are able to win today. Get too much of a scouting report. If you do, you might have to watch number 80, Gabe Brady. Catches that pass for a first down, gain of 13 yards. And for the second time today, the Hawks are into Cougar territory. 1:10 showing to go here, first quarter of action. 7-7 tie. Ryan Lacoste scoring a 6-yard run for the Hawks to put them on the board. Cody Jenkins with a 3-yard quarterback keeper, tying the game up on the last possession. And here comes Malcolm Johnson, the big fellow, just barreling forward. Picks up 21 yards and a big first down. I'm going to say the ball was already on the ground when it came out. We'll spot that on the 26-yard line, so we'll call it a gain of 20. One of the beauties of sitting up in the stands as opposed to being in the booth at Edmund Stadium, the microphone tends to catch a few things. You get to hear the excitement of the crowd, and sometimes a little extra. First and 10 on the 26-yard line. 32 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Hawks on the move. Hopkins under center. He's going to pass this time. Looks over the middle towards Gabe Brady. Doesn't have anything, and Hopkins finally takes off running up the middle. Lunges his way forward to the 24-yard line. Something out of nothing, as they like to say, as Hopkins picks up 2 yards rather than throw it away. Clock now showing 8 seconds to go, and it looks as though the Hawks will let the clock expire, and that will be the end of the first quarter with our score. Mountlake Terrace 7, Capital 7. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And we are back again. 7-7 tie heading into the second quarter. The Capital Cougars, the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, playing for the right to take on the Marysville Pilchuck Tomahawks next weekend in what becomes the official state playoffs. This is a playoff game, however, it's considered a district playoff game to get to the round of 16. Ryan Lacoste looking for room out to the right, not finding much space at all. Not even able to get back to the line of scrimmage. He might have lost a yard there. We'll call it a 3rd and 9 from the 25-yard line. We'll bring up a very interesting situation if the Hawks are not able to convert. We found out last week that Ivan Melkor, he's got a foot on him. He kicked a 47-yard field goal up at Oak Harbor. From the current line of scrimmage, this would be about a 42-yard field goal attempt if the Hawks, again, are not able to convert a first down here. I'm sure offensive coordinator Mike Yelowicki is hoping that is not the case, and that will be a moot point. See what the Hawks do here. Hopkins rolling out to his left this time, looking down the field. Finally throws it to Gabe Brady. Intercepted. Ball is picked off by number 2. So that is Carson Bertelli, the sophomore. Hopkins just rolling out to his left. Had Gabe Brady open for a brief moment at the 15. Might have underthrew him just a bit. And the Cougars, for the second time in as many possessions, force a turnover The last time they got the ball, they were on their 13-yard line of the Mountlake Terrace Hawks. This time they've got to go a little further. They're at the 23-yard line, their own 23. So for the first time in the second quarter, Jenkins brings his offense back out onto the field. Cody Jenkins, only a junior. Looks to the sideline for the play call. Rieta, number 34, and Kennedy, number 32, lined up behind him in the backfield. Handoff goes to Kennedy. Kennedy trying to run off of left tackle. Penalty marker thrown right into the middle of the line as Daniel Johnson getting in on the tackle.
Daniel Johnson on the stop. There is a flag on
Flag is thrown generally where you get a holding call of some sort or an offensive call against the lineman. This time they do call holding against the Cougars. We'll wipe out the run and push the Cougs back 10 more yards. It's worth mentioning again, Kennedy with over 1,400 yards of rushing this season. And 12 touchdowns for that matter. This is a team that likes to run and likes to run often. I was up in the press box before the game talking to one of the gentlemen who does an audio broadcast for the Olympia schools up here. Mentioned to me that he thought this was going to be a very, very quick game today, knowing that both of these teams like to run more than they like to pass and consequently should be keeping the clock running for the majority of this ball game. And we've seen a lot of that so far. 11:06 to go here, second quarter. 7-7 tie from Ingersoll Stadium down in Olympia. Cougars getting pushed all the way back to the 13-yard line. 1st and 20 coming up. Jenkins again looking over to a sideline for a possible play change. Sends Johnson, the receiver, in motion. Handoff goes to Kennedy. No, he rolls out to his left. He's being chased by Jenkins. Throws the ball. Was it completed? They're going to say incomplete. Nice attempt by number 35, Jacob Johnson. Tried to catch that while sliding, having to reach back. Almost made an outstanding grab. Referees were right there, though. Said it hit the turf first. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 20. I'd like to say a hello to a few folks that are watching the game today on the Sound Live Sports Network. A couple of the big fellows on the line. We've got Lana and Pat Allen, grandparents of Miles Allen, watching us on the internet. Also have Bob and Jewel Brooks, Trent Brooks' grandparents, watching. So we appreciate all of you out there who were able to get out to the game today, supporting your grandsons and hoping that they pick up a victory here for the Hawks. Here comes a blitz. Screen pass is thrown by the first initial set of tacklers, and finally Kennedy is dropped very quickly by Malcolm Johnson. Got out to the 16-yard line. Gain of only 3 yards, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 17 for the Cougars.
Third down and 16.
Once again, the Cougars looking over to the sideline for a play call. Cody Jenkins, the quarterback, 6'1", 185 pounds. Hasn't had to throw much today. You've got to think that possibly on a 3rd and 16 situation, they might be airing this one out. He's got 2 receivers lined up out to the right, 1 receiver out to the left. 9:44 to go here, second quarter. Jenkins takes the snap in shotgun formation. He's looking downfield. He's going to throw into the flat. Ball is completed. That's the good news if you're Capital. The bad news is that it was not completed for a first down. He caught it at the 31-yard line as he was going out of bounds. Sean Morris, the 5'10", 165-pound senior.
2 yards short of the first down.
He's 2 yards short. That's going to bring up a 4th and 2.
4th down and 2.
And once again, Capital sending the punt team on. Number 3, Van Soderberg. Soderberg is a junior. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds. Parents up here in the stands yelling for the fake, or to watch the fake, rather. Short yard. They are going to run fake. Here we go. We get a penalty marker thrown. Snapped it to one of the up men. That was number 35, Jacob Johnson, who took the snap. And almost immediately after the ball was snapped to him, penalty markers were whistled, and we get a false start called against the Cougars.
Procedure against the Cougars.
Illegal procedure.
That'll back them up.
That might have been an interesting play. The Hawks
That'll bring up 4th down
It's hard to tell if they were ready for that one or not. They had 3 up men blocking for Soderberg. They hiked it to one of them. He had a little bit of a convoy going out to the left. Hard to say if he would have, in fact, picked up the first down or not. We'll never know as the ball has moved back 5 yards. It's now a 4th and 7, and I've got to think that this time the snap is going to go directly to Soderberg, and we will, in fact, get a punt. And that is, in fact, the case. Does not get off a very good kick. It's a short one. Bounces at the 45 and takes a great bounce for Capital right down the sideline. Could have easily gone out of bounds almost as soon as it hit the ground, but it did not. It rolled an extra 12 yards. It goes to the 33. Ends up being a 42-yard punt with no return. And with 9:24 to go here in the second quarter, the Hawks will have their second possession of the second period. And this time they will start off on their own 33-yard line. Hopkins in shotgun formation sends Daniel Johnson over to the left. He's the only receiver. Seems to be a little confusion on the side of Mountlake Terrace, and they're going to use a timeout. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
And welcome back to Ingersoll Stadium in Olympia. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network presented by Shoreline Community College. Hawks playoff football, Mountlake Terrace and Capital all tied up at 7-7 on a gorgeous day here. The stadium that is located on the campus of Olympia High School. District Stadium. Olympia playing a 7 o'clock game here tonight. However, in the meantime, we've got Mountlake Terrace and Capital. Malcolm Johnson not finding a lot of running space here today so far. Trying to run off of the right side and might have picked up 2 yards on the play. We'll call that a 2nd and 8 with 9:10 to go here in the second quarter. Mountlake Terrace making the playoffs for the 4th time in 6 years. Prior to that, they had never been to the playoffs, never had postseason play in the school's 50-plus year history. Still looking for their first playoff victory, however. Could this be the day? 8:48 to go, second quarter. They're going to hand off to Johnson one more time. Johnson getting spun down in the middle of the field. Gets ahead to the 40-yard line. We'll call that a gain of 5. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 3 for the Hawks. Johnson coming into this game. The second leading rusher for the Hawks, the 3rd leading rusher in all of Wesco 3A South. He had 134 carries for 846 yards and 13 touchdowns, averaging a little over 6 yards per carry. I've got John Clippard looking over the stats I printed off of another news website, so he's making sure that my stats are correct. Ryan Lacoste over 1,000 yards on the season and 18 touchdown rushes is the other back, and there he goes as Lacoste tries to go out to the right, spun out of a would-be tackler, and then finally dove it back towards the middle, was able to get forward for a gain of about 1 yard. It's going to bring up a 4th and 2 in a very interesting situation for Mountlake Terrace. A very stingy defense is this Capital Cougar team. I'm not sure the Hawks want to make it any easier for their offense right now. They're playing the field position game. They're going to bring on the punt team as Austin Bates is set to kick the ball away.
Austin Bates on the kick.
Very interesting situation here. Nobody back to return the kick for the Cougars. I don't know if they were thinking in terms of a possible fake or not. They're just going to let Bates have free reign at the kick. Ball hits at the 15. It continues to roll. Penalty marker is thrown along the near side here at the 40-yard line. If this play stands, the Hawks have pinned Capital back to the 3-yard line. We'll see what the call is, though. Ends up being a 56-yard kick for Bates. Did not see what was going on along the left side of the field here. Still awaiting the call from the referees. give a sideline warning apparently to the Capital football team. I believe they get one of those for free.
Sideline warning against the Cougars.
That is in fact the case, as the Cougars apparently stepping a little bit too close to the playing field there along the sideline, the coaching staff presumably, maybe some players as well. And they get flagged for that one again. If they do that again, that will result in a penalty. This is just a warning. And Capital pinned way back this time. They're going to start off, they're going to call it the 4-yard line now. As number 9, Cody Jenkins, brings his offense onto the field one more time. Try to get you some of the starters from that Capital team. We haven't done that on the offensive side yet. Kennedy diving up the forward for about a yard.
Short gain, bring up about second down. 9.
Offensive line for Capital today. Number 70, Dolan Pritchett, the junior, playing left tackle. Your left guard is number 62, David Anu. He's a sophomore. Your center is number 52, Landon Mueller. He's a senior. Get you the rest of that lineup here in just a moment. 2nd and 9 coming up. Handoff goes to Kennedy again. Kennedy getting a big hit in the backfield. Stood up and then finally dropped at the 3-yard line. A loss on the play. Austin Bates and Michael Jensen, Mikey, making the tackle. The rest of your starting lineup for Olympia today, at least your offensive line. Number 51, Drew Johnson, is your right guard. Johnson is a senior. Number 74, Mason Manning, a senior, is your right tackle. Your tight end, we've mentioned him earlier, Robbie Donaldson, only a sophomore. He wears the number 45. 3rd and 11 coming up for the Hawks. Big play here. See if Terrace can get the stop. Jenkins handing the ball off up the middle, and with a lot of space, that's the fullback, Rihanna. And catching everybody off guard as he's able to barrel through to the 25-yard line, a gain of 22 yards. Big first down pickup on 3rd and 11. It's exactly what you did not want if you were Mountlake Terrace, to get caught off on that play. Rieta, we mentioned, he is a big back, 215 pounds. Moves the chains for Capital. 5:39 to go here, first half. They've got a new set of downs. Continuing into this game, 7-7 tie. Jenkins under center, sends Johnson in motion. Hands off to Kennedy. Kennedy trying to find some space. Austin Bates stepping in, containing him for only a 2-yard gain, and it's going to bring up a 2nd and 8.
Give him a 2-yard gain. That'll bring up second
Remind
down.
everybody to stick around at halftime. We will be bringing you the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime report. 5:03 to go here in the half. Might bring you a special guest or two. Jenkins looking to the sideline one more time. Getting the play from the coaching staff. Head coach is John Johnson. He's also the defensive coordinator. Kyle Camus is your offensive coordinator for Capital. Going to call for a handoff to Kennedy. Kennedy going right off of left guard. Got forward to the 31-yard line. Picks up 4 yards on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 4.
That'll bring up 3rd down and about 3 yards to go.
Decent crowd here today at Ingersoll Stadium. I've got to be honest, I think the commend to the Mountlake Terrace Hawks fans. I wouldn't say they've outnumbered Capital by any means, but seeing that they have to travel 70 extra miles, it's a fairly comparable crowd. Certainly the Hawks making almost as much noise as the Cougar faithful here today, and you don't always see that in playoff football games when teams have to travel. 3rd and 3 coming up. The clock now showing 3:59 to go in the half. Jenkins sending Johnson in motion from left to right. Handoff goes to Kennedy, and whistles blow as penalty marker was thrown on the far side at the 30. False start by Capital. It's going to move them back 5 more yards. Second time in 2 drives that Capital's been called for that, either on 3rd or 4th and short situations. The last one happened on what would have been a fake punt attempt, as the ball was snapped on 4th and 2. This time they pushed themselves back from a 3rd and 3 situation into a 3rd and 8. Jenkins now in shotgun formation this time, as Johnson and Morris lined up out to the right. Number 7, Jake Pratt, lined up by himself out to the left. Rieta and Kennedy behind him. Fakes the handoff to Rieta. They're going to throw deep. He's got a man wide open. Morris making the catch and tumbles to the ground. If he had stayed on his feet, that would have been a 73-yard touchdown. Blown coverage assignment there for the Hawks as Sean Morris just ran right down the hash marks, makes the catch and falls down at the 42-yard line of Mountlake Terrace. Picks up over 30 yards on that play, but that could have been a lot worse if you're a Hawks fan. 3:19 to go here in the first half. 1st and 10 for Capital at the Hawks 42. Going to reverse the formation this time, send 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Very similar to what we saw in the last play. This time they're going to run the option from it. Pitch the ball to Kennedy. Kennedy tackled in the backfield. Number 3, Daniel Johnson, coming up to make the big hit. And we get a penalty marker thrown at the end of that play. As a few of the players on both of these teams having words with one another, and the way that the Hawks are clapping, I think they feel this is going to go against Capital. And in fact, it does. So a 3-yard loss on the carry. Tack on 15 more yards. Referees marching that one off right now. 2:56 left here in the first half. Referees making the official call there right now. Playoff football can get a little chippy sometimes, and we saw that just now. If anybody watched our broadcast yesterday, we saw a lot of similar situations in the Meadowdale-Auburn game. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
And we are back again at Ingersoll Stadium. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network, presented by Shoreline Community College. 2:56 to go here in the first half of play. A very tightly contested ball game. 7-7 tie game. Both the Capital Cougars and the Mountlake Terrace Hawks hoping to advance to the next round to play the Marysville Pilchuck Tomahawks. And if you want to know who's going to win this game, you're going to have to stick around for the second half. This is not a 24-minute game today, as teams are very comparable. A wheel route wide open, and running down the sideline is number 32. He's finally bumped out of bounds. Connor Kennedy, the tailback. A play that we had not seen yet all day long, as Kennedy faked the handoff. They faked the handoff to him out of the backfield. He just wheeled around to the left and went up the field. Jenkins found him wide open along the sideline, and that is the second time this drive that the Hawks have let a wide receiver or a receiver go wide open on a play. Kennedy converts that one into a first down, and Capital now with 2:42 to go here in the second quarter with a nice chance to take the lead as they are inside the red zone. As the clock continues to run, now showing 2:32 to go in the half. Johnson going in motion. They're going to hand off to Rieta. Rieta going right off of the left tackle. Dives down to the 10-yard line. Picks up a gain of 6 yards on the play. Actually, they'll spot him on the 11. We'll call it a 5-yard gain. We'll bring up a 2nd and 5.
Second down and 5.
As the clock now shows 2:06 to go here in the half. Johnson lining up to the left. Pratt to the right. Rieta and Kennedy in the backfield one more time. Jenkins looking over to the sideline. Hawks crowd starting to make some noise. cheering on their defense. Send Johnson in motion. They take the snap. This time it's an end around as Johnson has the ball looking for room around the right. Mikey Jensen with a stop, and then he's met by a few other players. Josh Hopkins, along with Tanner Munnis, coming over to make the tackle. Reverse denied. If any reverse, it was reverse for a loss as number 35 on the carry. Jacob Johnson, the wide receiver, getting his first handoff of the game. They faked him coming around the sweep a few different times and had not given it to him. This time he gets the ball and takes it backwards for a 5-yard loss. It is now 3rd and 10 with 1:04 to go here in the half. Got to think that Capital might be looking to pass here. We did see Rieta, the fullback, dive up the middle on a 3rd and 11 situation earlier in this drive that resulted in a 22-yard run. Let's see if they try that again, though. Hawks almost jump off sides, and they finally blow a whistle. Billy Parkins, number 56, might have come across early. We'll see if he was drawn off. Offsides against Mountlake Terrace. 45 seconds to go in the half. That will move Capital 5 yards closer. 3rd and 5 coming up on the 11-yard line. Maybe the biggest play of the game so far, right before the half. Hawks looking to keep Capital out of the end zone. Hopes of either forcing a turnover or getting them to attempt a field goal at this point. Clock continuing to run now, 32 seconds and counting. Jenkins under center. Doesn't like what he sees, calls a timeout. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
And welcome back to Ingersoll Stadium. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network presented by Shoreline Community College. Huge play coming up here. Capital looking to convert a 3rd and 5 on the Hawks 11-yard line. Score is tied 7-7 with 30 seconds remaining in the first half. This is playoff football. Lose and go home. Win and advance to the state tournament. Jenkins looking over to the sideline for the play. Rieta lined up right behind him. Kennedy, the tailback, going in motion to the left. And we get movement this time on Capital as it looked as though number 44, the tight end, Jared Gerhardt, firing out early on the left side. That will move the ball back 5 more yards and bring up a 3rd and 10. Moves the ball back to the 16-yard line. Don't know much about Capital's kicking game. We know if they were to try one from here, it would be a 33-yarder. Capital with 2 receivers lined up out to the left. It's Johnson and Morris. Pratt lined up out to the right. Rieta and Kennedy in the backfield. Jenks back in shotgun formation, and the Terrace crowd starts to get loud one more time. Kennedy trying to go with a hard snap, looking downfield, over into the end zone, overthrows his intended receiver, and a late penalty flag thrown right at the goal line there. See what the call is going to be here. The ball was incomplete, which would bring up a 4th and 10 if it stands. Capital seems to think that one of the Mountlake Terrace players pushed off on a receiver. Defensive holding called against Mountlake Terrace. I'm going to say one of the Terrace defensive backs held a receiver. .25 seconds to go here in the half. I'm wondering if Morris, the intended receiver, was not the one that was held. He seemed to be rather excited when that penalty marker was thrown, and he started pointing towards the sideline that it was going to be against Mountlake Terrace. as though he knew something. It's half the distance to the goal. Unlike college or pro where defensive holding is an automatic first down, it remains a third down unless you get the required yardage. So we're going to have a 3rd and 2 on the 8-yard line. 25 seconds to go. The Cougars do have a timeout remaining, so they could in fact run this for a first down and then call a timeout if they wanted to pick up additional plays. We'll see what they do here. And we get movement again by a tight end. This time it's number 45 Donaldson on the right-hand side. Just can't seem to get a third down play in for either team right now, as it's been 3rd and 10, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 2, and now 3rd and 7. All since we've been inside the 20-yard line, as the Cougars are going to be moved back to the 13-yard line. Don't normally see this many penalties in one quarter of action, let alone one set of downs here on one particular down, that being 3rd down. Terrace crowd getting loud one more time. 25 seconds still showing on the clock. 3rd and 7. Going to send Johnson in motion from the right. Going to fake the handoff, and tripping is Jenkins, the quarterback, stumbling down at the 21-yard line. I've got to think that at some point here, Capital's going to use that last timeout. They've yet to call it. So the clock now shows 13 and counting. I'm guessing what they might do is let it wind down until there's about 2 or 3 seconds, call a timeout, and just have one final play to end the half, and that's exactly what they will do. We'll keep that one right here. There's 2 seconds to go. Cougars at the 20-yard line. If they attempt a field goal, it'll be from about 37 yards out. It's not necessarily a give-me at the high school level by any means. Or they might even just keep the offense out and throw one ball into the end zone to see if they can get a touchdown to end the half. We'll see what they do here. 7-7 tie. Total yards for the game thus far. Fairly even here. Well, maybe not as much after this drive. Capital started this drive deep in their own possession or territory. 162 total yards for Capital, 107 for Mountlake Terrace. Capital with 108 of those yards coming through the passing game, something we didn't think we'd see today, but they've been able to throw it rather effectively thus far, and they are going to try a field goal as Soderberg is on to attempt the 37-yard kick. Cody Jenkins, the quarterback, is in fact the holder. This should be the final play of the half. This would be to give Capital the lead. And now Mountlake Terrace decides they want to freeze the kicker. They're going to call a timeout to make Soderberg think about this one a little bit. We'll keep it here still, as we do not want to miss the field goal. Looking at some stats here in the first half. Your Mountlake Terrace Hawks offensively, Justin Hopkins, 3 attempts for 6 yards, 67 yards passing. Rushing-wise, unofficially, Malcolm Johnson, 6 carries for 28 yards. Ryan Lacoste, 5 carries for 10 yards. And then Hopkins had a 2-yard carry himself. So 12 carries for 40 yards thus far in the first half. Not the type of numbers we're used to seeing from a Mountlake Terrace running game. It's usually the bread and butter, and they have not been able to execute much so far. Gabe Brady, the biggest threat so far for the Hawks on offense. He's got 3 catches for 67 yards. Soderberg lined up. He's on the right hash. Again, this is for the lead. It is 7-7 with 2 seconds to go here in the first half. Hawks coming after it. Soderberg gets the kick up. It has the distance and goes far left. No good. And the Hawks and the Cougars will head to the locker rooms tied up 7-7. It doesn't get much better than this. This is playoff football. This is win or go home. Both of these teams still with a very good chance to move on to the next round. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get you caught up on all of the happenings from the first half, as well as a few other things going on around the area. We've got a special guest coming up as well. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
To see how much you can save on car insurance and much more, call Jeff Smar. Jeff's office serves many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mountlake Terrace. He can be reached at 425-949-7103 or jeffsmar@allstate.com.
Hey, sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
Hey, sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network, the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime show, as we are at halftime with your score. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks 7, the Capital Cougars 7. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks looking for their first ever playoff victory in the school's history in football. That sounds like a long time, doesn't it? We've got Doug Podrowski here with us from MLTnews.com. Doug covers not just football, but a whole plethora of sports for the Mountlake Terrace community. And Doug, we'll start off by talking a little bit about this game. What are your early thoughts here from the first half?
Yeah, I've been down on the field itself, and the first observation was that the acoustics here are amazing. There's a smaller crowd here than there was last week at Oak Harbor, but it's much louder, including the Mountlake Terrace supporters that are here. They are very loud. The team can hear them on the far side of the field, and I think they may be making an impact, especially on that last drive with some of those penalties.
Yeah, they got very loud. We should point out that the acoustics are very loud up here as well, but that's because we're broadcasting in the crowd, and some of the parents, when they get excited about plays, we have to keep the language to a minimum. But that's from a different story entirely. But yeah, certainly it's you got to like the fact that, and we mentioned this during the second quarter, Mountlake Terrace traveled very well to this game today, and I think it's helping the team out.
Yeah, the team looked sharp, especially in that first drive. The big play to Gabe Brady, the 60-yard pass. that really loosened up. It exposed a flaw in the Capital defense right away, which they have corrected. Their defense is staying back now. You're not going to see as many long passes. I think the other thing that's of impact is the injury to Jacob Walgren.
Yeah.
Jacob is going to be out for the game. He's been taken out as a precaution. Nothing is said at this point, but concussion rules are you got to take him out. He and Mike Johnson hit head-to-head on the extra point attempt that Capital had. That
was when they both dove for the
both
ball.
dove.
Okay.
They were both the ends, and they both dove, and they hit head-to-head.
And that was Mikey Jensen, I should point out.
Oh, yeah.
Right, okay.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Mikey Jensen. And Mikey's okay, but Jacob, they were checking him out, and he's going to be out for the rest of the game.
Okay, well, that's a huge loss. That's one of the starting cornerbacks, so we'll see how that plays out. And we've seen that already kind of coming into play here in the second quarter where they exposed the Hawks in the secondary a few different times.
Certainly. In that last drive especially, third down plays, a couple long passes were converted by Capital. But a lot of mental mistakes on both teams in that last drive. A lot of penalties to Capital and Mountlake Terrace, some secondary issues, missed coverages.
So certainly the team that is able to capitalize on that in the second half or maybe keep those to a minimum might be the team that comes away from here victorious today. It's a very closely contested game.
It is. I think the defensive line play is going to Capital at this point. The Capital defensive line is very strong. I want to point out Duncan Matson, their senior big guy, one of their biggest guys on the line, 240. He's having a monster game. And the offensive line coaches for Terrace are trying to figure out how to handle him and their defensive line.
And this is why you bring in a guy who's on the sideline. He gets all the inside scoop for us, and you're able to hear a lot of this. The name we're hearing up here a lot in the stands every time the PA announcer seems to be calling out names is Tanner Munnis, number 2 for the Hawks, the linebacker, having a nice day.
Yes, he and
Mikey Jensen.
And Mikey Jensen, the linebacker crew, is holding together well since the defensive line is having some difficulty. The Mountlake Terrace defensive line is having some difficulty with their big offensive line. That the linebackers are coming through and playing well.
Should give Austin Bates a shout out there too if we're going to mention the linebackers. He's having a phenomenal game there.
Austin Bates is having a very good game also.
Yeah, so a nice defense on both sides, and that's results in a 7-7 tie here at the half. Doug, you've been covering other sports throughout the area, and I should mention, and we're going to keep working to get this. We haven't gotten it yet. We know that the state cross-country meet was today, and you mentioned that we know who the winner is,
but
Pasco. We don't know who.
Holy Names is the 3A girls winner. They had 2 in the top 3 for individual finishes. I don't have a complete listing of where Terrace finished. So last year they finished 5th in state.
Ranked 4th coming into this one, right, in terms of the coaches' poll. So certainly we know the Hawks were capable of maybe making a run, no pun intended, at the state tournament there over in Pasco. But I know they're hoping for another top 5 and maybe even better. So we will continue to kind of monitor our Twitter handles, and we've got a text out to somebody else who was over in Pasco hoping to get some results later on. But again, a very nice year for Coach Weber's ladies. And do we have any men running over there as well?
No.
We do,
no men over there. We'll certainly have all the girls' results on MLTnews.com.
Oh, there we go.
Late tonight.
Perfect.
We'll have that up there.
And you've been covering other sports throughout the fall as well. I know you mentioned you were at a soccer game recently.
Soccer, the girls made the play or made the district tournament again this year, of 2 years in a row, making it to district. Lost the first game to Ferndale up in Bellingham. Tuesday night they had a game against Meadowdale, loser out game, and came through, won that 2-1. Tremendous game, lot of fun game, lots of chances by Meadowdale. That young team is going to be very strong. They're going to be better next year. But Terrace did get the win there. They had to go up to Arlington on Thursday night. Unfortunately, they lost that game and are now out.
But they did have a winning season, and Coach Hatch and the team looked strong all season long, really. It's very good offensive performances at times this year. I know I went to a game, I think, a couple weeks ago where they scored 3 or 4 goals, most of which came in the second half. And they had some young players on that team,
They
too,
had
right?
some young players. They had some freshmen on the team, so they should be strong. They'll be losing a couple of strong seniors. Lily Hart will be graduating this year. Top scorer for the last couple of years for the team. But I look for Coach Hatch to have that team back and posed to make a run again next year.
He loses Lily Hart, but he still has a couple of other Harts, right?
Yes, and one of them started. Julia was a starter all year long. So, it's you gotta love that no pun intended again with the Hearts.
Yeah, keeping the pipeline
gotta
going.
Love that team. I also want to mention the girls swim team.
Please do, yeah.
They're in action today. District meet is happening up at that new aquatic center in Snohomish. Beautiful facility up there. The 3A District 1 meet is happening today, and hopefully we'll have some results from that. Terrace might sneak in a swimmer or two into the state meet, which happens next weekend in Federal Way. We'll see. No one's qualified for the state meet quite yet, but we're hoping. Annika Matthews made the state meet last year as a freshman. She is Terrace's best hope for getting into the state meet again this year, and we'll see after today's results.
Yeah, and what sports don't you cover?
Well, anything that's happening. I haven't been to the macho volleyball, but
which was we crowned a champion on that earlier this week too.
Mountlake
Right?
Terrace had one, and actually all 4 high schools in the district will be competing in macho volleyball, guys volleyball. It's a lot of fun. That'll be at Mountlake Terrace High School next Wednesday.
And since you brought that up, and we have a little time on the clock, can you let everybody know what macho volleyball is? It's not an actual sanctioned sport within the WIA, correct? And I'll read the names, by the way, later. I did print that off, but go ahead and let us know what macho volleyball is.
Macho volleyball is just guys getting together and forming teams of 8, and they're playing volleyball. And the girls' volleyball team, some of them are helping to coach the guys, get them warmed up and ready to go. I hope to go next Wednesday night because it sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. And the other schools will be there: Meadowdale, Edmonds Woodway, Linwood. They'll all be there for next Wednesday night.
So it's essentially kind of like intramural sports in college, right? These guys just formed their own. It's not even really a league; it was a tournament of sorts, right? For one night.
One night tournament.
Yeah, and every school in the area did one.
They have a lot of fun with it too, with crazy outfits and costumes, uniforms. So it's a fun night.
And I think if I read correctly, that's the finals are going to be at the high school on Wednesday.
Mountlake Terrace High School on Wednesday. It's kind of a long, drawn-out thing. I don't know the times on it, but if you contact the school, they can certainly tell you about macho volleyball.
Macho volleyball. And again, everything that Doug has been writing about, you can find on MLTnews.com. And by the way, I'm happy that we still have you on board. I know last year you were the, I guess, editor-in-chief of MLTnews.com.
Sure, yeah, you can say that, yeah.
I wouldn't say that you've stepped back, but you've relinquished some of those responsibilities, and now you're pretty much exclusively doing sports, correct?
Pretty much, yeah. I occasionally find something around town that interests me and will write about, but the high school sports is where I'm spending most of my time and loving it and enjoying the time with the kids and the sports, and looking forward to the winter season that's coming up this month.
Very quickly, yes, it is. Yes. So, hey, again, it's great for us, all of us that are involved in the community or that live in the community, to be able to follow not only these young athletes, but some of the other happenings around town, whether you're from Mountlake Terrace or Briar or the surrounding areas. And, Doug, we certainly appreciate everything that you do for the community on our behalf. And keep writing, we'll keep reading.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, keep clicking on MLTnews.com.
There you go. So Doug Podrowski, I don't know why I'm having trouble with your name today. I've said it a million times, but Doug Podrowski with MLTnews.com is our Action Jackson Plumbing halftime guest. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll get you caught up on some statistics and get you into the third quarter of play. Mountlake Terrace 7, Capital 7. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Hey, sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
And we are back again on the Sound Alive Sports Network. Almost ready for second half action. The teams are about to line up. Just to get you caught up on statistics overall, look at the team stats right now. Capital with the first down advantage. 7 first downs for the Cougars, 4 for the Hawks. Total yards, Capital 162, Mountlake Terrace 107. And to give you a breakdown on the yards, 108 passing for Capital, 54 rushing. For Mountlake Terrace, 67 passing, 40 rushing. So a bit of a surprise there as the two teams have combined for only 94 yards on the ground in the first half. And mind you, these are two teams that like to run the ball and run the ball a lot. So we haven't seen that quite yet. Looking at some of the individual stats for the game, we'll go over the Mountlake Terrace Hawks. This is pretty quick. Justin Hopkins, 3 for 6 passing for 67 yards. All 3 completions, all 67 yards to Gabe Brady. Rushing yards, Malcolm Johnson, 6 carries for 28 yards. Ryan Lacoste, 5 carries for 10 yards. And Justin Hopkins, 1 carry for 2 yards. Looking for Capital here. Cody Jenkins, the quarterback, 7 for 8 passing, only 1 incompletion. 108 yards passing. His leading rushers are Connor Kennedy, 10 carries for 29 yards. And Cody Jenkins, the quarterback himself, 4 carries for 22 yards. Rounding out their stats, Ryan Rieta, the fullback, 3 carries for 9 yards. And then Jacob Johnson, 1 carry. That's the wide receiver who lost 6 yards on an end around. Receiving-wise, Sean Morris, 2 catches for 47 yards. He wears the number 15. Connor Kennedy, the tailback, who's also leading in rushing, is leading in receiving as well. 3 catches for 45 yards. Ryan Rieta, 1 catch for 16 yards. And those are your unofficial stats as you are continuing to watch the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime report. We're going to move out of the way here right now and get you back to the action as Capital has already brought their kick return team onto the field. Mountlake Terrace ready to kick off, and we are getting some very good news from across the state. It's not a championship, but it's pretty darn close. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks girls, 2nd place in the state today at the state tournament, running cross country as Holy Names winning the state tournament, and the girls finishing in 2nd. Congratulations to them. That is huge. It's a girls team that took 5th last year, and they are the runners-up this year with a very young team, so they'll be back again and strong next year. That is a huge, huge deal, and happy for them. We don't have any individual stats on that one, but as Doug Podrowski mentioned earlier, you can find those, or you will be able to find those in time at mltnews.com, as they will undoubtedly be writing a story on the Hawks girls later on tonight or tomorrow. You can also find that by going to thehawkeye.org, the school newspaper. I'd like to give a shout out to our Hawkeye friends who are, for the most part, majority of the Terrace students, along with Vince DeMero, over in Washington, D.C. this week for a WJEA convention. I believe that is the Washington Journalism Education Association, and I'm sure Vince will text me if I got that wrong, but the award-winning Hawkeye staff and the writers and editors are all over there. Safe travels to them. I have no doubt they're having a good time. And I know that they are also watching their school's football team play a tough game here today. The beauty of the internet, from one capital to the other, state capital to the nation's capital. On a beautiful day here in Olympia, Washington, Ivan Milkor ready to kick, and the second half is underway. Morris, number 15, takes the ball at the 11-yard line, looking to set up a wall as he runs all the way from the left side of the field to the right, tries to cut it back into the middle. Not much room. He gets it up to the 22-yard line. Picked up 12 yards by running about 60. And the Cougars will come onto the field for their first offensive possession and taking over on the 23-yard line. Cougars coming back onto the field. Both teams looking to play Marysville-Pilchuck next week. Not a great night last night for a few other Wesco teams. Glacier Peak eliminated from playoff play, as was Arlington. Meadowdale, Marysville-Pilchuck, and Oak Harbor have all advanced so far. Mountlake Terrace trying to make it a 4th team. Kennedy running up the middle to the 26-yard line. Picks up 3. Austin Bates with another tackle. And as Doug Podrowski mentioned from MLT News during the half, the linebacking core for Mountlake Terrace having a fantastic day here so far. Really keeping the Hawks in this thing on the defensive side of things is Tanner Munnis, Mikey Jensen, Daniel Johnson, Austin Bates, all getting their name called numerous times here this afternoon. Handoff is going to go to Rieta up the middle. Rieta finding some room. He's still going. Only brought down by 4 or 5 Hawks at the 41-yard line, but not before a 14-yard gain and another Cougar first down. Hawks offense has not been on the field here for a while. Cougars had a very long, sustained drive to end the first half. And that ended with them missing a 37-yard field goal attempt as time expired, after electing to defer until the second half on the opening coin toss. Capitals offense is coming out to start the third quarter as well. Now looking to run their fourth play here of this drive with 1st and 10 at the 41. Handoff goes up the middle to Rieta one more time. Short gain. They might have picked up 3 yards on the play. Tanner Munnis making the tackle. So as Doug mentioned at halftime, Jacob Walgren, number 20, a.k.a. Wally, out for the game with concussion-like symptoms. He will not be returning. Josh Hopkins, number 11, taking his place. Hopkins is the twin brother of starting quarterback Justin Hopkins. 2nd and 7 coming up. 10-10 showing on the clock here in the third quarter. Pratt lined up out to the right. Morris and Johnson out to the left. Fakes the handoff to Rieta, looking deep along the left side. Ball is thrown down the field, and Riley Moore picks it up at the 30. Josh Hopkins tries to throw a block. Riley cutting it out to the 45. And INT for Morin. Runs the ball 15 yards down the field, and nice pick by the junior. Hawks will take over at their own 45-yard line. First pick of the day for the Hawks. Nice play by Morin. Hawks with their first possession here. They'll call it the 44-yard line. It dive right up the middle. Johnson's going to pick up about 4 yards on the play. Unofficially, I'm looking here.
Johnson on the carry picks up about 3 yards.
That is Morin's first interception of the season.
2nd down and 7.
Came at a very opportune time as Hawks needed a big stop there as they look to take the lead in this playoff game at 9:25 to go, third quarter. 2nd and 7 coming up. Get all sorts of motion. Let's see which team moved first. It looked as though that one might be going against Capital. It is in fact offsides, and that is going to push the ball past midfield and bring up a 2nd and short for the Hawks. 9:20 to go, third quarter.
That will bring up 2nd down and 2.
Brings up a 2nd and 2. 35, Sammy Abraha. Lined up at the right wing. Ryan Lacoste at the left wing. Daniel Johnson out to the right. There's the wide receiver. They hand off to Johnson. And Johnson not going anywhere on that play. Might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Just a quick dive for the Hawks. Going to catch Capital off guard, and they were not having any of that. This Capital football team has done a very nice job up front all day long.
3rd down and 2.
As Doug mentioned, number 71, Duncan Madison, is now lined up at the left defensive end position. He's been having himself quite a game. Stacking the box, they've got 8 players in there. Does the Capital defense, almost trying to dare the team to run or throw the ball. Ryan Lacoste takes that ball off the wing, gets forward for a gain of 4, picks up a first down for the Hawks. Gerhard making the tackle for Capital. It'll be interesting to see what the Mountlake Terrace Hawks decide to do here. At some point, if Capital's going to keep loading the box up front, leaving their 3 DBs back there all by themselves. The Hawks might be tempted to try a pass here. Let's see if this is the play. Hopkins does, in fact, drop back to pass, throws the ball into the flat on the right-hand side, intended for Daniel Johnson, and that ball might have stayed up in the air a little too long. It's number 15.
Sean Morris on the break.
That is Sean Morris, had plenty of time to make the break on the ball and hit Johnson right as it got to him. Forces the incompletion. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 10. .16 to go here, third quarter, 7-7 tie. Hawks handing the ball to Johnson one more time. This time he's able to pick up a few yards. Gets ahead to the 40-yard line, a gain of 4. Duncan Madsen, number 71, making the tackle for the Cougs. 7:59 here to go, third quarter, 7-7 tie. You're listening to the Sound Alive Sports Network, brought to you by Shoreline Community College. Hawks continuing to look for their first playoff victory in the school's history. Fake the handoff. Hopkins is going to throw. Finds Malcolm Johnson. He's not able to hold on to it. Had it at the 35-yard line. Was right about at the line he needed to be at to get the first down. Just wasn't able to hold on to it. Ricochets off of his hands and to the ground. Brings up a very interesting 4th and 7 situation for Mountlake Terrace. Too far for a field goal. Austin Bates is going to draw back to punt, and the Hawks will see if they can pin Capital deep in their own territory. Once again, Capital very leery about sending a punt returner back. They've got Morris standing at the 20. So he's going to let that one sail over his head, and it looks as though Bates might have kicked that one into the end zone. He does. 41-yard kick, 21-yard net as that one will come out to the 20. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation.
And welcome back to Ingersoll Stadium. The first play for the Cougars after the punt. Kennedy on the carry, being tackled by Mikey Jensen. Billy Parkins, number 56, also in on the stop. Holding Kennedy to a 2-yard gain. So they'll spot it on the 23. We'll call it a 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7 with 7:11 to go. Billy Parkins' dad, William, yelling out that he wants us to point out that Billy still needs a scholarship. So we'll keep an eye on that as Billy's making some plays out there today. Kennedy running around the left side, cuts it back into the middle, gets ahead to the 28. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 2. Malcolm Johnson making the tackle this time for the Hawks.
Bring up 3rd down and 1.
They'll spot it at the 29. We'll call it 3rd and 1. First down marker sitting right at the 30-yard line. It's exactly where the Cougars need to get to in order to avoid a punting situation on this play. 6:26 to go, third quarter. We're all knotted up at 7. Handoff goes to Rieta. Rieta finds a little bit of space, not a lot, but certainly enough to get that first down. So he lunges forward to the 31-yard line, a gain of 2.
Eli Wilson on the stop.
Eli Wilson this time, the junior, number 54, making the tackle for the Hawks.
First down.
And Capital not wasting much time as they take a very short, quick huddle. Get lined up back on offense again. Johnson lined up out to the right, Pratt to the left. Rieta and Kennedy are still in the backfield. Jenkins takes the handoff, hands it to Kennedy, looking for some room out to the right. Spins off of one set of tacklers into the middle of the field. Gets forward to the 34-yard line. Picks up 2 yards on the play, and Parkins makes another tackle. Good to hear Billy's name called twice in one drive.
You got 2nd down and 8.
2nd and 8 coming up. 5:38 to go here, third quarter. Jenkins under center. They look over to the sideline one more time. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He's going to pass this time. Has to scramble away. He's got some running room if he wants it. Tucks it away and takes off. Riley Morin not letting him get around that corner. However, Jenkins does pick up 9 yards, which is enough for another first down. Nice heads-up play by Jenkins. He looked down the field for his receiver. When he realized he did not have anything open, simply tucked it away and took off running. Needed 8 yards. He picked up 9. Capital being very methodical here, not looking for big plays, just looking to move the chains. Did that very well in the second quarter and seemed to be doing a nice job of it so far here in the third, minus the Riley Morin interception on the last drive. Now under 5 minutes to go in the quarter, 4:58 showing on the clock. A pitch this time as Kennedy looks to run to the right. Hopkins gets blocked out on the corner, so Kennedy's going to pick up some extra yards. Penalty marker down around midfield, right around the line. This one might be coming back as we await the call. Daniel Johnson and Austin Bates in on the tackle. Hawks clapping. They seem to think this one's going to go against the Cougars. And it will. Push in the back called against the Cougars. So rather than pick up a new first down, they're going to be stuck with the one they already had and pushed back in the process. Referees having a little conference out there to determine where the spot of the foul was in order to place the ball correctly. They're going to take it all the way back to the 38-yard line. That will bring up a 1st and 16 for the Cougars. They need to get to just a little bit beyond the 46-yard line of Mountlake Terrace, past midfield in order to pick up a first down. 4:44 showing on the clock. 7-7 ball game here. Jenkins takes the snap, hands it off to Kennedy one more time. Kennedy trying to find some space out to the left, can't find it, cuts it back into the middle where he picks up a few yards. Get him ahead to the 41. Now we'll put him on the 42, a gain of 4. Brings up a 2nd and 12 with 4:19 to go here in the third quarter. Second and 12 coming up. Cougars breaking the huddle. Johnson already lined up out to the right. Pratt to the left. Fullback Rieta, number 34, and the tailback, number 32, Kennedy, in the backfield for the Cougs. Johnson going in motion. Fake the handoff to Kennedy. Jenkins drops back to pass, thrown over the middle. Incomplete. He's looking for Johnson along the left flat. Threw it just a little bit in front of him. Might have been a short pass as well, as it's going to bring up 3rd and 12 for the Cougars. Third and 12 situation coming up. 3:42 to go, third quarter. 7-7 tie here at Ingersoll Stadium in Olympia. Cody Jenkins, the junior quarterback, back under center. Cougars looking over to the sideline. Mountlake Terrace definitely feeling the energy coming from their stands here as the team continues to cheer. Nice hit by the Hawks. Tanner Munnis and Daniel Johnson both making a big stick on Johnson, who drops the ball. It would have been well short of the first down even if he had caught it. It's going to bring up a 4th and 12 on the 42-yard line. And that'll bring on Soderberg to punt for the first time here in the second half. Riley Morin, who had the interception a few minutes ago, back to receive this punt, stands on his own 28-yard line. Soderberg gets a nice high kickoff. Warren steps up, catches it at the 27-yard line, and that's where the Hawks will take their possession. We'll take a really quick break. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Hey, sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. Ryan Lacoste taking that carry off the right wing, taking it out to the left, cutting it back into the middle for a gain. Well, we'll call it about 5 yards on the play, out to the 34-yard line. Actually, they'll give him 7 yards on the carry. 3:03 to go here in the quarter. 7-7 tie. Mountlake Terrace continuing to look for their first playoff victory in the school's history. Trying to get the offense going. A double handoff as Sammy Abraha takes the pitch, or takes the handoff rather. Spins forward for a first down, but we get another penalty marker thrown into the backfield. Let's see if this play is going to stand or not. Some of the folks up here seem to think that it might be a penalty against Capital. Potentially a face mask. We've not seen the referee signal that yet, and now we have 15-yard face mask penalty. So give Abraha a lot of credit for spinning forward to the first down. And then he picks up an extra 15 yards on the penalty. The Hawks now back in to Capital territory once again. So they're going to place that ball right about at the 47-yard line of Capital. First and 10 for the Hawks, 2:47 to go here in the third quarter. Both teams scoring their lone touchdowns in the first quarter of play. We've not seen any scoring since. As the Hawks come right back to the line of scrimmage, they're ready to go. Gabe Brady lined up out to the right. He has 3 catches already today. Ryan Lacoste goes in motion, takes the handoff. Lunges forward to the 46, maybe the 45-yard line. Not able to pick up very much as he came sweeping around off the left wing, running to the right. Right at the big fella, Duncan Matson, who makes another tackle. 2:16 showing on the clock here in the third quarter and counting. We heard we were going to get a quick game, and this game has lived up to those expectations. As both teams just grinding it out right now. The way this one's going, the next score might end up winning. Who knows? Colin Rutger getting his first action of the day, sweeping out to the left, and he's got some space. Is finally brought down at the 32. We do have a penalty marker thrown back at the 43-yard line. That ball might be coming back as we wait to see what the referee's call is. We get a holding call against Mountlake Terrace, so bring that one back and wipe the long gain away. Rutger listed at 5'10", 170. A quick scat back type of player. 1:52 showing on that clock right now as the Hawks will more than likely be getting pushed back behind the midfield marker, and they in fact will. It's a spot penalty, so they're going to say the infraction occurred at the 44-yard line of Capital, so that will push the ball back to the 46 of Mountlake Terrace. Going to bring up a 2nd and 17 for the Hawks. 2 plays to pick up 17 yards before they have to make a decision. Let's see if they can do something right here. Hopkins fakes the handoff. He's looking downfield, throws it over the middle. Connects with Lacoste at the 44, breaks out of one tackle and spins his way forward to the 38-yard line. A gain of 16 yards. Going to leave the Hawks a yard short of a first down. A nice pickup for Mountlake Terrace, making the 2nd and 17 into a 3rd and 1. Lacoste getting his first catch of the ball game. Going to end up spotting that closer to the 38-yard line, so we'll call it 3rd and 2. 1:05 to go, third quarter of action. Hawks looking to convert into a first down here. They hand off to Malcolm Johnson, and Malcolm fights his way forward past the first down marker. He's going to move the chains for the Hawks and be spotted down at the 36-yard line.
Malcolm Johnson on the carry. Drew Johnson personally there on the stop for the Cougars.
Drew Johnson, number 51, getting credit for the tackle for Capital. Mountlake Terrace, however, able to move the markers one more time. 57 seconds showing on the clock here in the third quarter. As the sun continues to shine on Ingersoll Stadium in Olympia. Capital stacking the box right now. They hand off to Lacoste. Lacoste looking for room out to the right. Lacoste! Touchdown, Terrace! Ryan Lacoste sweeping out to the right. Found an opening and took it to the house. 36 yards later, and Mountlake Terrace takes the lead. That is the big play the Hawks had been looking for since back in the first quarter. Lacoste with touchdown number 2. Ivan Milcor, automatic Ivan coming in for the PAT. We'll see if he can connect now. John Clippard giving me a very dirty look, thinking I jinxed him, but Ivan 37 for 38 on the year. We'll see what he can do here.
37 for 37, you said it last time.
Points out that he was 37 for 37 until I jinxed him last week at Oak Harbor. We'll see what he does here. Kick is up. Whistles before the play.
Flags on the play.
Flags everywhere. We'll see what the call is. 43 seconds left in the third quarter. The Hawks take the lead. Gonna get illegal procedure against Mountlake Terrace. We'll move the PAT back 5 yards.
Against Mountlake Terrace.
Don't see that.
Gonna try that one more time from 5 yards back. So instead of a 20-yard kick, it will be a 25-yard kick. Drew Clippert, the junior, long snapper extraordinaire, ready to snap the ball back to Tanner Munnis. His father pointed out to me up here in the stands that he needs a scholarship too. He's only a junior though, we'll give him another year. Munnis gets the hold down, Melkor gets the kick up. Automatic Ivan strikes again. The PAT is good. Hawks now with a 14-7 lead. We'll take a quick break. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Hey, sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
Welcome back to Ingersoll Stadium. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network, brought to you by Shoreline Community College. Ryan Lacoste with the 36-yard touchdown run. The first points we've seen put up on the board since the first quarter. And with 43 seconds left in the third, the Hawks have taken the lead for the second time today. They now are ahead of Capital 14-7. Wishful thinking. Almost said 17. It is 14-7 with 43 seconds to go in the third quarter. Ivan Milcor, number 74, has the ball teed up and ready to go as he is about to kick off. Kicking that one in the direction of Morris one more time, who fields it on the 10-yard line. Jumps in behind his blockers, finds a little bit of opening, but not much, as he is leveled by number 15, Austin Bates, at the 23-yard line. Hawks defense has been tough all day long. They've had a bend but don't break persona today. Allowed Capital to pick up some yards here and there, but have always been able to turn them away from the end zone whenever they've gotten close. Minus the first touchdown and only touchdown of the game for the Cougars. We'll see if the Hawks can continue that trend right now with 38 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Jenkins looking over towards his sideline off to his right for a play call. He's in shotgun formation. He's got Rieta and Kennedy in the backfield. The handoff goes to Kennedy. Kennedy finding an opening. Being dragged down by Gabe Brady, though, as he crosses the 30-yard line. Gets ahead to the 31, a gain of 7 on the play. We'll bring up a 2nd and 3 for the Cougars.
That'll bring up 2nd down and about 2.
16 seconds and counting here. This might be the last play of the quarter. As Jenkins is in shotgun formation one more time. He's got Morris and Johnson lined up out to the right. Pratt out to the left. Rieta and Kennedy still in the backfield with him. Clock now showing 1 second. Does not get the snap off. The whistle blows, and we've come to the end of the third quarter of play. Mountlake Terrace 14, Capital 7. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
And we are back again. 1 quarter to play. Mountlake Terrace holding on to a 14-7 lead over Capital. 12 minutes showing on that clock right now. 12 minutes away from Mountlake Terrace potentially winning their first playoff game ever. Kennedy looking for a run up the middle, finds some space, gets ahead to the 44-yard line, a gain of 12, and he picks up the first down.
Brought down by Ryan Cobb, and that's enough for another Cougar first down.
Ryan Lacoste making the tackle, possibly a touchdown-saving tackle, or at least a longer gain there from his safety position. 1st and 10 for the Cougars at the 44-yard line of Capital. Jenkins continuing to run out of a shotgun formation here. Rieta and Kennedy both in the backfield. Hands it to Kennedy, and Kennedy is met in the backfield by number 15, Austin Bates. Kennedy was able to pick up 1 yard on the play, but not much more than that. It's going to bring up 2nd and 9.
Give him a short 1 on that. Will make it 2nd down and 9.
2nd and 9 coming up for Capital. Capital back in the I formation again. Rieta and Kennedy lined up behind the quarterback, Cody Jenkins. Johnson out to the right, Pratt to the left. 11:06 showing on the game clock. Hawks needing a big play right here. Kennedy sweeping out to the right. Bounces off of one tackler. Gets ahead for a first down and still continues to run along that sideline before Lacoste bumps him out at the 38-yard line, but not before a 17-yard gain. And we've talked about it already today. Number 32, Connor Kennedy, he's a threat. He's had over 1,400 yards of rushing coming into this game today. Continues to run strong and picking up some steam. Kennedy now 20 carries for 90 yards unofficially on the day. He's creeping up on that century mark. As the clock winds down, 10:55 to go in the game. I should say in the fourth quarter unless there's overtime. 1st and 10. Guess who? Kennedy with another carry. Spins off of the tackler in the middle of the field. Goes out to the left. Josh Hopkins steps up to hit him. And then Tanner Munnis and Daniel Johnson come over to finish him off. Gain of 3 yards. That could have been a lot worse for the Hawks as Kennedy was initially stopped right up the middle. Somehow was able to break away from a whole group of tacklers. Busted that play out to the left and found a little opening initially until Josh Hopkins stepped into the hole. Capital very patient right now. They've got plenty of time on that clock. 10:17 left in the game. They continue to trail by 7 here, 14-7, but they're on the move. Jenkins hands off to Rieta. Rieta finds room up the middle, picks up the first down and more. Lacoste finally able to grab him around the ankles. Gabe Brady then finishes him off at the 23-yard line. A 13-yard gain. The Capital Cougars are letting it be known that this game is far from over right now as they continue to move the ball down the field. And they continue to move those chains as they're now at the 23-yard line of Mountlake Terrace with 10:04 left in the fourth quarter. Jenkins bringing his team back up to the line of scrimmage. Under center once again, I formation. Is the formation of choice for the Cougars right now. 9:52 and running up on that game clock. Jenkins fakes the handoff. He's going to pass this time. He's looking for Johnson towards the end zone. Incomplete. Johnson running a deep post pattern. Had beaten Riley Morton for a brief moment as he cut open into the middle. Ball was just a little bit too far in front of him as Jenkins not able to connect. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 10 with 9:42 to go. Jenkins not wasting any time. He's back under center once again. Slowing it down a bit as he looks towards the sideline. Hands off to Rieta. Rieta dives up the middle for a gain of about, we'll call it 6 yards on the play. Gets down to around the 17-yard line. We'll bring up a 3rd and 4. Mentioned it earlier while we were talking at halftime. The Mancho Volleyball Championship was held the other night on Wednesday night at Mountlake Terrace High School. It's where the guys get together and play a one-night volleyball tournament to determine a winning team, since we do not have volleyball as a sport at Mountlake Terrace. A few of the names will sound familiar. We'll get to those in just a moment here. 9:09 left on the game clock here in the fourth quarter. Capital looking at a 3rd and 4 at the Mountlake Terrace 17-yard line. Hawks holding on to the 7-point lead right now. They're going to go back to Connor Kennedy one more time. Kennedy plows his way forward to around the 13-yard line, very close to the first down marker. It looks as though he's going to be just a bit short. Not by much, a little less than a yard. And trailing by 7 points right now. You've got to think the Cougars are going to try to punch this one forward for a first down, and in fact that is the case. Mountlake Terrace Hawks fans sensing the urgency of the moment here to get a stop on defense. They start cheering very loudly. 8:22 shown in the fourth quarter, 4th and 1 coming up. Jenkins hands off to Rieta. He might have been stopped. The Hawks grabbing at him right around the line of scrimmage. He did lunge forward at the very end. Let's see if he picked up enough yardage for a first down. It's going to be close. Should mention from our vantage point, we're broadcasting on the 35-yard line on the other side of the field, so our angle is a little skewed.
We have a timeout for a measurement.
Referees are going to take their own timeout to measure this play off to see if he in fact picked up a first down, so they will bring out the chains. 8:11 to go in the fourth quarter. This will either be a first down for the Cougars or it will be a turnover on downs, at which point the Hawks would take over possession.
On the yellow, it's the 13-yard line. That's beyond where that marker is.
I hear a very loud cheer from one side or the other here. Let's see what they get. He didn't get it. Just a few inches short. They mention all the time that football is a game of inches, and it's never been more apropos than it is on that play, as the Cougars coming up just a few inches short of a first down. The Hawks with a huge defensive stance here in the fourth quarter. They take over the football with 8 minutes and 11 seconds left as Mountlake Terrace continues to push towards a potential playoff victory, something that they've never been able to claim in the history of Mountlake Terrace High School. Justin Hopkins back under center once again. Malcolm Johnson in the backfield. Handoff's going to go to Lacoste. Lacoste looking for more space around the left. Cuts it back into the middle where he's dragged down at the 18-yard line. Picks up 5 yards. We'll bring up a 2nd and 5 with 7:58 to go here in the fourth quarter.
2nd down and 4 yards.
Referees actually spot that ball 6 yards down the field, so we'll call it a 2nd and 4. Get some stats here on Lacoste right now as he's currently showing 10 carries for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns today. Keep in mind he had 5 carries for 10 yards at the half, so 52 of those yards coming in the last quarter and a half alone, 36 of which were on the touchdown run. This time the handoff's going to go to Johnson. Johnson muscling his way forward past the 20-yard line. Gets it right around the 22. It's going to bring up a 3rd and short for the Hawks here with 7:17 to go. And the Hawks now looking at their own 3rd and short. Ball appears to be spotted about a yard away from that first down marker. Justin Hopkins runs over to the sideline to get the play. We don't see that very often from Mountlake Terrace. Hawks need to be cognizant of the play clock right now, and they do not want to get a delay of game penalty here. Not on 3rd and 1. Hopkins under center. Let's see what he comes up with here. Almost fumbled that football. Gets it to Johnson. Johnson pulls forward to the 24 in a crucial first down for the Hawks. They just ran a good minute off that clock, maybe even closer to a minute and a half to get the first down, and they get a new set of downs at the 24-yard line as the chains are now moved. And the Mountlake Terrace Hawks fans getting a little excited here as they sense that this could be history in the making. It's far from over, but certainly you'd rather be up 14-7 than down 14-7 in the fourth quarter. And the team with the lead also has the ball right now. Let's see what the Hawks can dial up here on 1st and 10 at the 24. Movement all over the field there as saw fidgeting on both the defensive side and the offensive side. I have a feeling this one might be getting called against the guys in white. That is in fact the case. Capital players moving before the snap. However, the players that were moving were behind the line of scrimmage. As long as you do not encroach onto the offensive side, you're free to move as much as you'd like. I think that threw the Hawks offensive line off just a bit. One of them moved early. Brings up a 1st and 15 at the 19-yard line. Sammy Abraha going around the right side, sweeping from the left to the right. Gets it ahead to the 22-yard line, picks up 3 yards. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 12. And the clock continues to tick, and we continue to look at it. Never have 12 minutes appeared to move so slowly and tick away at such a snail's pace as the Mountlake Terrace Hawks fans are hoping to be able to celebrate here when that clock hits triple zeros, but there's a lot of football left to be played here. 2nd and 11 coming up. The Hawks would really like to get another first down here and continue to run time off that clock. They hand off to Malcolm Johnson, and Capital was waiting for Malcolm that time. Pritchett in on the tackle as well as a few others. That ball was not going anywhere. 3rd and 11 coming up for Mountlake Terrace. 5:13 left here in the fourth quarter. Be curious to see if Mountlake Terrace goes to the air here. Something they haven't done a lot of in the second half. As a matter of fact, Justin Hopkins only 9 pass attempts in the entire game. Only 3 of those coming in the second half so far. I have a feeling we'll see a 4th one right here. 4:48 left here in the fourth quarter. Hopkins under center, drops back to pass, gets blitzed, throws it as he's moving, and gets the ball complete. Initially, that looked like it was intended for Austin Bates, goes over his outstretched fingertips, landing in the hands of Ryan Lacoste. Picks up 12 yards and just enough for a first down. Hawks move the chains one more time. 4:38 left in the game. And it's 1st and 10, Mountlake Terrace at their own 37-yard line. Everybody breathing a huge sigh of relief as that ball was thrown into a crowd full of both red and white uniforms. Fortunately, if you're a Hawk fan, it found a white uniform. Lacoste running the ball around the left side, picks up another first down as he just crosses into Capital territory. Gets ahead to the 49-yard line of the Cougars, actually the 48. Picks up 15 yards and picks up another first down.
That'll bring up a first down and 10.
4:20 left in the fourth quarter. I keep hesitating to say in the ball game because we do, in fact, have overtime options here if the game is knotted up. Mountlake Terrace trying to make sure that that does not happen. Holding on to that 7-point lead. And more importantly right now, holding on to the football. Took over this possession with about 7.5 to go in the game.
Gotta get the chains right.
Referees are still working on moving that chains. They finally start the clock back up. 4:18 and counting. Hopkins under center. It's going to give that one to Johnson. Johnson looking for a little room over to the left, right off of the left tackle position. Capital continuing to stack the box. They do a nice job there to hold Johnson to a 2-yard gain. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 8. .349 and counting. Mountlake Terrace continuing to let that clock go as far as they can every play. Hopkins under center. Takes the snap, gives it to Ryan Lacoste. Lacoste trying to sweep out to the left. Picks up a couple of yards, gets ahead to the 43-yard line. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 6. And the Cougars deciding to use the first of their 3 timeouts. And we're going to keep it right here just in case this is a quick timeout. We don't want to miss any of this action right now. Continue to thank everybody for supporting us today on the Sound Live Sports Network. Got a tweet earlier from Kristen Garza, the mother of Michael Hunt, who's watching the game from their home today, the Hunt and the Garza family. Michael, the Mountlake Terrace Hawk football player who was injured during the first game of the year against Mariner, a game in which he was having a great night playing defense, was a huge contributor in that 14-13 victory that night. We all know the story there, broken leg out for the season. And Michael, you are very much a part of this football team. I hope you're enjoying this game thus far, and I hope you are able to celebrate with your teammates when they get back up to South Snohomish County after this one's over. 3:21 left on that clock right now. We were going to mention earlier the Macho volleyball tournament that took place. Team America consisted of Danny Roth, Alex Summers, Jesse Prothro, Carlitos Bravo, a football player, along with Gabe Brady, Mikey Jensen, and Tanner Munnis. Oh, and Adam Lorraine, don't want to leave him out too. So a few football players in there. They were the volleyball champs, hoping to expand on their big week, and a few of those guys want to get a football victory now to go on top of that as the handoff goes to Lacoste, faked everybody out, looking for room out to the right, dragging Morris along with him down to the 38-yard line. Morris spins him down to the ground. He's going to be about a yard short. And with 3:06 showing on the game clock right now, the Hawks, they've got a decision to make. It's going to be 4th and about a yard. We get another timeout by Capital. Oh, no, the referees are going to take a timeout to measure this one. They're bringing the chains out one more time. This ball looks like it's almost a full yard short. I'm surprised they're going to try to measure this, but they want to make sure that they get everything correct here with 3:01 left in the ball game. So again, just to mention those names, the Team America team that won the Macho Volleyball Tournament: Danny Roth, Alex Summers, Jesse Prothro, Carlitos Bravo, Gabe Brady, Mikey Jensen, and Tanner Munnis, along with Adam Lorraine, coached by 2 of Mountlake Terrace's best volleyball players, the 2 team captains, Nikki Boucher and Alicia Klingon. They are going to go represent Mountlake Terrace on Wednesday night over at the high school, as that ball is at least a yard short. I'm not sure why we measured. And trying to bring a Macho Volleyball Championship back to MTHS. Again, we mainly mention that because there are a handful of football players that were involved in that night and will be involved on Wednesday night. And we hope they have a very busy week, because if they don't, it means that football season has come to an end. And that's the last thing we want, as the Hawks are trying to get through to the next round, where Marysville-Pilchuck awaits the winner of this football game. Mountlake Terrace appears to be keeping the offense on the field. If the referees get this one right, they should start this clock up here in a moment, and the Hawks should be able to at least allow for a good 20 seconds to tick off. Cougars do not appear to be in a hurry to call a timeout. So if you're Mountlake Terrace, why not let that clock expire as much as possible. 2:49 left. It's 4th and 1 for the Hawks. Let's see if they try to get Capital to jump off on a hard count. They do not, and I believe Mountlake Terrace might have called a timeout. They did. Wise move by Coach Umayam and his staff. They just let that clock tick down to the last possible second. Clock becomes a friend right now, not a foe. You want as much of it off as you can. They let it expire as much as they could before they had a penalty called against them. And now they've got a decision to make. Go for it right here and try to get that first down. Cougars only have 2 timeouts left. Or you punt it and try to pin them back and make the Cougars go the length of the field. I have a feeling we're going to see the offense come back out here in just a moment, but a first down here would not wrap up this game, but it would get us a lot closer to getting the Hawks towards the victory that they're aiming for right now. Hopefully we've got some folks watching in Pasco today. I mentioned it earlier right at the end of our Action Jackson Plumbing halftime show with the Mountlake Terrace Hawks girls cross-country team taking second in state today against Holy Names. They're making a little history of their own. Now the football team trying to do the same. Let's see if the Hawks can do it. 4th and 1. They're going to hand off to Johnson. No, they give it to Lacoste. Lacoste finds room past the 35 and to the 33. First down, Hawks. Mountlake Terrace just draining that clock right now. A new set of downs. 1st and 10. We mentioned it a minute ago. The Cougars holding on to 2 timeouts right now. Barring any kind of a turnover, the Hawks should be able to tick a considerable amount of time away from that clock before even thinking about giving the ball back over to the Cougars. And very surprisingly, the Cougars not electing to call a timeout here yet as they let the Hawks slowly get to the line of scrimmage as the clock ticks away. 2:14 and counting right now. And Coach Umayam, it looks like, doing a very similar move to what he did a moment ago. Let the clock go down as low as he possibly could before calling a timeout. 2:13 to go. We'll keep it right here. Coach Mike Yalowicki, the offensive coordinator, coming out onto the field to talk to his team. Can only imagine how that conversation's going. Just reminding them, protect the ball. Make sure you get the snap cleanly to the quarterback. We saw that become an issue in the Glacier Peak game in which the Hawks were trying to run out the clock and fumbled. Just reminding everybody, hold your blocks. Do not jump off sides, and you can execute this to perfection. You are 133 seconds away from a playoff victory. Should mention that Coach Yalowicki has a few supporters, I'm sure, watching from home today. Wife Courtney and son Cash hopefully are tuned in to watch Dad maybe come back with a big smile on his face. Hawks coming back up to the line of scrimmage. Also like to give a shout out to a couple of our coaches who weren't able to make the trip. Handoff goes to Lacoste. Lacoste finding room out to the left, bounces off of one tackler and finally falls forward towards the first down marker. Might have gotten out to the 23-yard line. We'll see where they spot this one.
Close to a first down.
Jake Nickel and Kelly Dugan, neither of which able to make the trip today. If they're watching, we hope they're enjoying this. Certainly they've played a huge part in getting the Hawks to this point this far in the season. Lacoste now unofficially listed at 98 yards rushing. Very close to that century mark with 1:41 to go. We're going to spot that just a bit short of the first down. 1:38 left here in the fourth quarter. Hopkins taking as much time as possible before taking the snap. Hands it off to Johnson. Johnson pushes forward for a first down. 1:26 left. The Cougars holding on to those 2 timeouts. They're going to need to start using them, or that clock is going to be out sooner rather than later as Mountlake Terrace being very methodical in how they move this ball right now, just picking up yardage 10 to 15 yards at a time for first downs. It's been a 6-minute drive already, and they're trying to extend it that much further, and the Cougars are going to take a timeout, and so will we. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
And we are back again, 1:24 to go. We remind everybody to stick around after the game to watch as we crown our Red Onion Burger Player of the Game Award. A couple of different options there, or a few options, as certainly the defensive unit has been very deserving as they've held this Capital team in check all day long to only 7 points. 1:24 left, the Hawks with a first down. Cougars with only one timeout left. Lacoste running the ball, gets forward for about a yard. See if the Cougars use their final timeout. They do. We'll keep it right here. 1:18 left. Hawks could now take a knee twice and bring up a fourth down. Essentially, they could take 3 knees and almost give the Cougars the ball back with about 20 seconds to go if they really wanted to. See if they... 1:18 showing a 35-second game clock. They actually might be able to run this one out now that I'm doing the math here without even having to run another play other than snapping the ball back to the quarterback and taking a knee. And we'll see what they do here. Mountlake Terrace, a school that was opened in 1960. I believe playoff play came about in 1973 at the state level. And the Mountlake Terrace Hawks went from 1973 to 2009 without ever making the playoffs. They've now made it 4 years out of the past 6. They've yet to ever win a playoff game. That could all change here with 1:18 left as they hold on to the 7-point lead. Handoff goes to Malcolm Johnson. Johnson fights forward to the 10-yard line. 9-yard gain. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 2. Cougars can do nothing but look at the clock as it ticks and ticks and ticks away. No timeouts left for Capital. You can best assured know that the Hawks will not snap this ball until they absolutely have to. Remind you again, stick around after the game. That should be a very festive and fun post-game show. We'll be giving a Red Onion Burger Player of the Game award out to one of our players. And the stats should be fun to go over too if this continues as the Hawks appear to be on their way to a victory here. And Mountlake Terrace very wisely waits until the last second and calls their final timeout. Nothing wrong with that. 30 seconds left. We'll take another quick break. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts. Because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
To see how much you can save on car insurance and much more, call Jeff Smar. Jeff's office serves many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mountlake Terrace. He can be reached at 425-949-7103 or jeffsmar@allstate.com.
You have to rush the snap. They don't have to. And we are back again. 30 seconds remaining on the clock. Mountlake Terrace in victory formation. It's very simple. Hopkins needs to take the snap from Clippard, fall down to a knee, and this game should be over. He does so. 28 seconds and counting. The Capital Cougars can do nothing but watch as the clock ticks towards 0. Mountlake Terrace is celebrating 15 seconds before we officially move them on to the next round. I believe that we will win chant is starting over to our right here. The crowd's getting excited. 2-1. It is official. It is a final. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks, for the first time in the school's 54-year history, have won a playoff game. The final score, Mountlake Terrace 14, Capital 7. Hawks win. And we're We're going to go get our Red Onion Burger player of the game and bring him up here in just a moment. Next Friday night, we haven't confirmed this yet, but we believe, from what we've been told, next Friday night, the Mountlake Terrace Hawks will be traveling up to Quill City Stadium at Marysville-Pilchuck High School, where they will take on the 4th-ranked Marysville-Pilchuck Tomahawks in a state playoff game. Get you more information and invite you to watch MLTnews.com or check out MLTnews.com all weekend long for more details as to whether or not that game will be broadcasted or how you can follow the game and to confirm times. I'd like to congratulate Capital on a successful season as well. No bad teams in the playoffs here. This is a team that had a strong year. They finished in the top half of their division in the Narrows League. Looking at the stats, they actually finished in 2nd place in their conference, right behind Lincoln. So certainly a solid season for the Cougars. They have nothing to hold their heads down about. Only one team was able to come out of this victorious, and it is the Mountlake Terrace Hawks. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we will have our player of the game ready to go. And we'll give you some final stats. Your final score, once again, Mountlake Terrace 14 and Capital 7. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
And we are back again on the Sound Alive Sports Network, where your final score from Ingersoll Stadium, the Mountlake Terrace Hawks 14, the Capital Cougars 7. Tanner Munnis, you know a thing or two about this school. Your parents are both graduates of Mountlake Terrace High School.
Yep.
I think you're well aware of the fact that up until today, the Hawks had never won a playoff game. That streak comes to an end, and you guys win the game, and you are the player of the game. First of all, what does this mean to you and your teammates to get this victory?
It means a lot to be the first team to ever have a playoff win. That's what we were going for. We hope to get out and play Pilchuck next week.
Yeah, and you're going to get them, so that's going to happen probably next Friday. Talk a little bit about the defense today. You knew coming in this was a team that liked to run the ball a lot. They've got a couple of backs that have had huge years. What did you guys do defensively that was able to contain these guys today?
We just brought everybody. We brought people in, and we knew they ran option. We defended the option well today. They didn't in film. They killed on option. We defended it well.
Yeah, on the linebacker side of things, it wasn't just you, really. I mean, Bates had a big game. Mikey was playing outstanding all day.
Malcolm stepped in when Gabe Brady had to go out and get hurt, and I had to move outside. Malcolm stepped in and filled the middle.
So is this a linebacking core that were you guys talking as a unit all week long as to what you needed to do? Were you fired up for this game?
Yeah, we were ready. We were ready to defend the option, defend everything.
Now, and what about on the offensive side of things? It was a little bit slow going for a while there. Did you know that if you guys just kept plugging away, you could finally break something open?
Yeah, that's a tough team. That's a big team, so they're hard to push around. We can't really run the ball as well as most weeks we had. So we pushed around. Offense played well. The whole team played well. Shout out the whole defense. Whole offense.
Now, are you ready for Austin Joyner next week and Killian Page?
We got to do what we can.
Big task ahead. But again, first victory ever for Mountlake Terrace in the playoffs. Congratulations. And, oh, by the way, that 70-mile bus ride is going to be a lot more fun.
Oh, yeah. A lot more fun than losing.
Not bad. So, hey, we're going to get a quick picture of you real quick here. We can get that. We're going to post this on the website. I think Mom needs one too. Did Mom get one up there? So not bad. Mom Janelle's in the Mountlake Terrace Hall of Fame, in the Athletic Hall of Fame, and now, but Mom can't claim she's got a couple state championships, by the way. I don't know if she's going to rub that in your face, but you can now claim that you've got the first football victory. That's not bad, right?
That's cool. Very cool.
Very cool. Well, hey, I'm going to let you take that shirt.
Right, thank you.
Go celebrate this one. Congratulations to you and your teammates, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So again, Tanner Munnis, the junior, with we don't have official stats, but just tackle after tackle. Huge game for number 2. And the Hawks move on to the next round. We'll get some stats here for you, too, before we leave. Looking at the game stats here as we try to turn this thing on. Total yards very close today. Unofficially, Capital with a 1-yard advantage, 277 to 276. They get the lead on that one, but you know what? The stat that counts the most is the scoreboard. It was 14-7. All the stats are close. Passing yards, Mountlake Terrace with a 110 to 108 advantage. Rushing-wise, Capital with a slight edge, 169, 166. And looking at some of the game stats here for both teams, I'll go through Capital first. Cody Jenkins on the day, 7 completions on 12 attempts. He did throw the 1 interception to Riley Morin. The leading rusher, Connor Kennedy, 23 carries for 96 yards. It's just a little over 4 yards a carry, and this is a player who had a huge year. If you can hold a running back who rushes for over 1,500 yards in a season to under 4.25 yards per carry, you've had a very successful day, and it results with a victory up on the scoreboard. Other rushers for Capital today, Ryan Rieta, 8 carries for 47 yards. Cody Jenkins, 5 carries for 32 yards. And Jacob Johnson, 1 carry for -6 yards. Capital's receivers for the day, Connor Kennedy, the running back, 3 catches for 45 yards. Sean Morris, 2 catches for 47 yards. Ryan Rieta, 1 catch for 16 yards. And let's go over the offensive stats for the victorious Mountlake Terrace Hawks. Justin Hopkins, 6 completions on 10 attempts, 110 yards and 1 interception. Rushing today, Ryan Lacoste, 16 carries for 97 yards. Malcolm Johnson, 16 carries for 63 yards. Sammy Abraha, 2 carries for 5 yards. Colin Rutker, 1 carry for 2 yards. Justin Hopkins, 1 carry for 2 yards. And then receiving-wise, Gabe Brady, 3 catches for 67 yards, including a 60-yard bomb in the first quarter that led to the first touchdown of the game for the Hawks. Malcolm Johnson, 1 catch for 13 yards. Actually, I take that back. That was Austin Bates that had the catch. Ryan Lacoste, 2 catches for 30 yards, including a crucial first down catch on that last drive that kept the chains moving. And again, the stat that matters the most, the stat that's up on the scoreboard, Mountlake Terrace 14, Capital 7, the Hawks getting their first playoff victory in the school's history. And that is your happy, exciting Red Onion Burgers post-game show. I'd like to thank Tanner Munnis for coming up here again and being our player of the game. Remind you again, the next game that the Hawks will play in will be next Friday night, we think. We haven't confirmed that yet. We do know the opponent. It is the Marysville Pilchuck Tomahawks. So stick around. Watch MLTnews.com all week. Check out thehawkeye.org for more information as to where you can watch that game and to get confirmation on the times. So for everybody involved today, Ian Hens did an admirable, outstanding job. The Mountlake Terrace student made this possible, so if you see him around campus this week, thank him for what he did and for making the big trek down to Olympia to help us out. Also like to thank John Clippert for helping us get up on the air and running today. My name's Steve Willits, and as an alum, I can proudly say that my alma mater has finally won a playoff football game after 54 years. Hawks win. Your final score, Mountlake Terrace 14, Capital 7. You've been watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. Have a great weekend.